Hi, my name is Chelsey, and today we're going to be talking about protein that's required for bariatric surgery. So first we want to start with what is protein. So protein is one of the three macronutrients in our body. So the three macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So what protein does is after surgery, it is going to help you with the healing process to help heal some of that tissue. And then it's also going to help make sure that while your body is breaking down all of the fat and you're losing weight pretty quickly, that you're not also going to lose your muscle. So as you can tell, protein's pretty important. But the biggest thing that we want you to know is that in the long run, we prefer everybody to get their protein on a daily basis from food sources. So food sources of protein, you can get it from many places, but your best option is going to be animal sources. This is going to be things like beef, chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, pork, anything similar to that. You've also got some protein in your plant-based items such as beans or lentils, but those are often going to come with some extra fiber, which means some extra carbs. So you've got to be a little bit careful there if you're trying to follow this low-carb diet. If you need a better list of some of the protein content of foods, you can always use your food tracker app, or you can look in your handouts and there is a sheet on there that kind of lists out some of the protein foods and what the content is. So how much protein do you need? Ultimately, that's going to vary based upon which surgery you're having and your gender. So let's start with the females. Females who are having the sleeve are going to need between 60 and 80 grams of protein per day. Females who are having the switch are going to need between 80 and 100 grams of protein per day. So for our males, if you're having the sleeve, you're looking to get between 80 and 100 grams of protein per day. And if you're a male having the switch, we recommend 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. Now, ultimately, if we look at your body scan, your body composition scan, and we find that you've got extra muscle, you may need a little bit more, but those are your best guidelines to follow. Okay, so what about protein shakes? So like I mentioned before, protein shakes are not something that we recommend long-term. They definitely have their place in the liquid diet after surgery as well as your pre-op diet. But in the long run, keep in mind, we're gonna get your protein from food sources. But ultimately, during that liquid diet, during the pre-op diet, we are going to utilize those protein shakes. So if you've never used protein shakes before, you're probably going to want to get started on finding a brand or a flavor that you like. And there are some references for you in your nutrition handouts that kind of list out some of the more popular brands that our patients use. So if you're starting to go to the store and you're looking for these protein supplements, but you don't know what to look for, let me help you out a little bit. So the first thing, you're going to want to flip around the label. In the ingredients, it should tell you which type of protein it is. The best protein for you is going to be whey protein isolate. There are also forms like whey protein concentrate, there are casein, there are rice, pea proteins, almost endless types of proteins for you to choose from. But if you find one that's a whey protein isolate, that's going to be the best absorbed in your body. The next thing that you're looking for on that label, take a look at the nutrition facts panel. On the protein, we want it to have between 20 and 30 grams per serving. On your total carbohydrates, we want it to have less than 10 grams per serving. For sugars, which should be listed right under the total carbohydrates, we want it to have less than 5 grams per serving. And then also on calories, less than 250 calories per serving. Ultimately, as far as protein supplements go, you're welcome to use the pre-made shakes and you're also welcome to use powders. They both have benefits. The pre-made are super convenient and quick and easy on-the-go options. But a protein powder, you can more control what's going to be put into it, and oftentimes you can control the taste a little bit better. As well, after surgery, if you're having difficulty getting all of your protein and your water in, what you can do with those protein powders is you can mix them with a lesser amount of liquid, and then that way you're getting the same amount of protein, but you're not having to drink as much. Okay, a few tips on protein after surgery. Make sure that you're spreading your intake throughout the day. So what we don't want you to do is, if your goal is 80 grams of protein, we don't want you to get 80 grams of protein within the first hour that you're awake. You want to get a little bit of protein with your first meal, your second meal, your third meal, and just kind of spread it throughout the day so that your body can better absorb it. I tend to recommend no more than 30 to 40 grams of protein in one sitting. Okay, if you make your own protein shake, a lot of people need to know how to do that. So oftentimes there will be instructions on the protein powders, but we recommend that you mix them with either water, milk, or one of the unsweetened alternative milks, for example, unsweetened almond milk. We don't want you mixing it with juice or anything that's sweetened, of course. And then the other thing too is kind of what you add into it. So a lot of people will add fruit or they'll add honey or something to their protein shakes. Ultimately, that's just adding carbohydrates and sugars. So we would recommend, instead of adding things like fruit or yogurt or honey or sweeteners, try adding in some avocado, adding in some greens, maybe some flaxseed, anything similar to that that's not the carbohydrates if you're looking for more of that flavor boost. And then I do want to give you an example of the difference between a clear liquid and a full liquid protein supplement, because you will see that in your handouts. So clear liquid essentially just means similar to water and very thin, nothing thick or milky or creamy. So this one right here is one example. It's called protein water. You can buy these often at gas stations, Sam's, Walmart, Target, online, but it's something, as you could see, it looks more like a water or a tea or a Gatorade rather than a milky substance. This is another one. It is a pre-made, of course, but it is a full liquid protein supplement. So kind of can't tell from this packaging, but it is more creamy and it is milky. And so that's what we consider a full liquid supplement. Okay, one other tip, lactose intolerance. A lot of people struggle with that before surgery, and then some people even develop it afterwards. So if that's you, if you're struggling with some of the symptoms of gas, bloating, cramping, diarrhea, you may want to look into your protein shakes as being the culprit. So oftentimes that whey protein will have the lactose in it, but there are supplements out there that are lactose-free, so you might just want to switch over. If you're having difficulty finding a lactose-free protein supplement, let us know and we can help you out. And lastly, and probably one of the more important things, is that we don't want you to go out and buy just huge cases of protein or anything just yet. So often people's taste changes after surgery. So I think if you can find a brand that you know you like, you're going to be able to find a flavor that you like afterwards. But I wouldn't count on, if you like chocolate right now, I wouldn't count on liking chocolate afterwards. And you don't want to be stuck with cases and cases of protein you're not going to drink. So, maybe buy just a few to have around the house, but ultimately wait until afterwards to see which flavors you're actually liking. Okay, that wraps up our session on protein. So we've given you a little bit of homework between now and your surgery to go ahead and find which protein supplements are going to work best for you. If you need a little help with that, finding some brands, or need a reminder of any of this information, please refer back to your nutrition handouts.